All right, so let's get some reaction on that story from children's rights activists. We speak to Steve Miller. He's the CEO at Save the Children South Africa, and he joins us now live from our studios in Pretoria. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Miller. Thank you so much for coming through. Let's get your reaction really as the organization on this dismissal of this appeal.
Thanks, Pelisa, for having me. Look, for us, justice was served the first time round, and justice is served now. So we obviously welcome this decision. It doesn't pacify us in any shape or form. We're still angry by what we see in South African society, and we won't tolerate this kind of behavior. So we welcome the decision today.
Yeah. So there've always been those concerns really on the justice system, and perhaps it's a leniency on perpetrators of women and children abuse. Are we starting to see a shift now on how the justice system is handling matters?
Look, we're very pleased with how things were handled in this particular case. For us, it was clear-cut. It was premeditated. The person underwent 30 days of psychiatric evaluation and was found fit for trial, and he stood trial and he got a fair trial, and the conviction, the sentencing, for us was a triumph, because it shows how seriously the judicial system are taking these cases now. So for us it's a good sign, yes.
And we also heard Judge Mosopa saying that the intake of alcohol as well as drugs by Ninow was not necessarily a mitigating factor to consider when sentencing. He said a letter that was addressed to the family and read in court during the trial did not show any remorse on the side of Ninow, but regret. Your take on that?
Now, look, I agree with the judge completely on his determination in this particular case. And I would like to take this opportunity to say, look, Nicholas Ninow had a difficult upbringing. That is without question. It does not excuse in any shape or form what he did. But right now, today, there are children growing up in those exact same circumstances as we speak. And I'm afraid the situation for children in South Africa is getting worse. So, yes, we should look at these cases and figure out what went wrong with individuals like Nicholas Ninow, but we should be putting resources into helping children in those situations today, so we don't have another Nicholas Ninow in 10 or 15 years' time.
And as it is now, we don't know as yet if we will take the matter further, but do you perhaps find comfort in the fact that the court said that there were no reasonable prospects of success in the future on this case?
Yes, look, he can take it forward. That's his right, and that's the wonder of our judicial system, where you can get a fair trial. But I feel he will not have any success there, and I think even his counsel would agree with that. So, yes, we may see it happen, but I doubt there would be anything further from this particular case.
And a lot of attention has been on Nicholas Ninow and this trial. Do you know anything about the condition of the victim as it is now? How is she doing? How is she keeping?
Yeah, so at Save the Children, we're not in direct contact with the victim, nor with the social workers involved, so I can't speak directly of what she's going through, only what we have also seen in the media, and the normal response, I suppose, if you can use the word normal, to this type of horrendous incident that's happened. And she is dealing with it as best as she can, but it will affect her lifelong. And this is the tragedy of these types of incidents, and we need to think about that when people like Nicholas Ninow are sentenced.
But then how do we prevent such from happening in the future? I mean, we've heard a lot of children rights activists saying that they were very happy with the sentence, saying that it will also be a deterrent to wannabe perpetrators. But how do we protect our children as a society going forward?
Now, that's a very big question, Pelisa. We need a 30-minute discussion on this one at least. But certainly, like I mentioned further previously, we need to focus on the children today. We need to put them at the center of everything that we do. And that starts, for example, with having an office for the rights of the child situated right in the presidency. At Save the Children, we don't distinguish between the violence we see in our society today and the childhoods that people are having. We make that connection strongly. So we really advocate for the presidency to give children's issues the highest attention. And then there's many ways through society that we can improve the situation, and perhaps we can have a discussion about that at a later time.
All right, I'm afraid that's where we'll leave it. We'll certainly have you back to take that matter further. Thank you so much there to Steve Miller. He's the CEO at Save the Children South Africa, joining us live from our studios in Pretoria, giving reaction, of course, to the news that Nicholas Ninow's lawyers have failed to convince the court that it erred in convicting him and sentencing him to life imprisonment.